Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stavakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stavakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's gospel class, I have chosen the subject, the power of concentration. Sri Ramakrishna said smilingly to the Pandit, what good is there in reading a whole lot of scriptures? What good is there in the study of philosophy? What's the use of talking big? In order to learn archery, one should first aim at a banana tree, then at a reed, then at a wick, and at last at a flying bird. At the beginning, one should concentrate on God with form. In another place, Sri Ramakrishna said, the yogi seeks to realize the Paramatman, the Supreme Soul. His ideal is the union of the embodied soul and the Supreme Soul. He withdraws his mind from sense objects and tries to concentrate it on the Paramatman. Therefore, during the first stage of his spiritual discipline, he retires into solitude and with undivided attention practices meditation in a fixed posture. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says, through bhakti, one spontaneously experiences kumbhaka. Nerve currents and breathing calm down when the mind is concentrated. Again, the mind is concentrated when the nerve currents and breathing calm down. Then the buddhi, the discriminating power, becomes steady. The man who achieves this state is not himself aware of it. Sri Ramakrishna said to Ishan, you ask me why you don't feel stern renunciation? There is a reason for it. You have desires and tendencies within you. The same is true of Hazra. In our part of the country, I have seen peasants bringing water into their paddy fields. The fields have low ridges on all sides to prevent the water from leaking out. But these are made of mud and often have holes here and there. The peasants work themselves to death to bring the water, which however leaks out through the holes. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, desires are the holes. You practice japa and austerities, no doubt, but they all leak out through the holes of your desires. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. They catch fish with a bamboo trap. The bamboo is naturally straight. But why is it bent in the trap? In order to catch the fish. Desires are fish. Therefore the mind is bent down toward the world. If there are no desires, the mind naturally looks up toward God. Do you know what it is like? It is like the needles of a balance. On account of the weight of lust and gold, the two needles are not in line. It is lust and gold that makes a man stray from the path of yoga. Have you noticed the flame of a candle? The slightest wind makes it waver. The state of yoga is like the candle flame in a windless place. Again Sri Ramakrishna says the importance of concentration. The mind is dispersed. Part of it has gone to Dhaka, part to Delhi, another part to Kuch Bihar. That mind is to be gathered in. It must be concentrated on one object. If you want 16 annas worth of clothes, then you have to pay the merchant the full 16 annas. Yoga is not possible if there is the slightest obstacle. If there is a tiny break in the telegraph wire, then the news cannot be transmitted. A magnifying glass can burn a piece of paper when the rays of the sun are focused through it. The fire can start only when the rays are concentrated to a small point. When the magnifying glass is moved too far away or too close, the rays are not focused and nothing happens. This demonstrates the tremendous power of concentration. Concentration can be described as having a one-pointed mind, focused attention, or the ability to pay attention to one single thought or subject to the exclusion of everything else. When our mind is focused, we do not dissipate our energy on unnecessary activities. Developing concentration is essential to anyone who aspires to take charge of his life. It is required in order to succeed in all walks of life. Without it, our efforts are dissipated. With it, we can accomplish a great deal. Concentration has many uses. Concentrating on your activities makes you perform them better, faster, and successfully. Focusing on work makes work more efficient. A better concentration makes studying easier, understanding faster, and improves the memory. It helps us to focus on our goals and achieve them more easily. The concentration power enhances our inner healing powers and helps us to send healing energies into our and others' bodies. It is required for developing psychic powers. It is a powerful tool in the efficient use of creative visualization, the power of imagination. When this ability is developed, the mind obeys us readily and doesn't engage in useless dissipating thoughts and worries, and we experience true peace of mind. Concentration, which is actually mind mastery, is also a very important tool in practicing meditation. Without it, the mind just jumps restlessly from one subject to another. Last but not least, it brings us faster to the brink of spiritual enlightenment. Now you understand why it is very important and worthwhile to develop and improve the ability to concentrate. If you have a strong will, you can always find the time to exercise each day. No matter how busy you are, forget all your excuses that you do not have the time or you are too busy. Do not say that the circumstances are not proper and that you cannot find a place to be alone in order to exercise. It is possible to develop the power of concentration wherever you are. If you realize the importance, the power of concentration, you will certainly find the time, energy and desire for it. Thoughts calm our attention incessantly and waste our time and energy on unimportant and useless matters. Thoughts claim our attention incessantly and waste our time and energy on unimportant and useless matters. They actually rule our life. We have become so accustomed to this slavery that we take it for granted and have become unconscious of this habit, except on certain occasions. While breathing, we do not need to pay attention to each inhalation and exhalation. We become conscious of the process of breathing only when we have difficulty in breathing, such as when our nose is clogged due to a cold, or when you are in an unventilated room. It is the same with thinking also. When we need to concentrate, solve a problem or study, or when we worry, we become conscious of the onslaught of thoughts and our inability to quell them. Look at the following familiar scene. You need to study something for your work or for an exam. You sit comfortably on the sofa with the book in your hands and start reading. After a while you feel hungry and go to the kitchen to eat something. You return to read and then hear people talking outside. You listen to them for several moments and then bring back your attention to the book. After a while you feel restless and want to listen to music, and so you switch on the radio. You continue to read for a little while and then remember something that happened yesterday and your thoughts chase that event. When you look at your watch, you are amazed to find out that 1 complete hour has passed and you have hardly read anything. This is what happens when concentration is not strong enough to ward off all disturbances. There are many situations in life where a little concentration would make a great difference. Think and find out where you could use more concentration. Imagine what you could have accomplished if you possessed better concentration. Concentration is greatly worth cultivation. All spiritual traditions talk about it. It helps us greatly in many ways, whether in our ordinary life, in study, work, developing psychic powers, and of course meditation. A job where physical strength is needed, such as carrying heavy loads for example, develops physical strength. Yet it is not as going daily to the gymnasium and training in a systematic way. It is the same with concentration. Reading, studying and trying to pay attention to what we do develops some concentration ability, but practicing concentration exercises diligently each day is something else. It is like going to the gymnasium. Resistance to developing concentration. In order to develop this ability, we have to train our minds. Most people shun concentration and do not even want to try. They think that concentration is tenuous and tiring, that one has to exert himself and get tense, and that it is difficult and unpleasant. One reason for this belief is that most of us did not like to go to school as children. We preferred play to study. Our teachers and parents expected us to study, do our homework, and bring good marks. A child feels coerced and forced to do something he doesn't like to do. In this way, in the child's mind, study becomes connected with doing something against its will. Studying needs concentration. And as the child is often reminded that he is not concentrating enough, he develops a loathing for concentration. It is connected with coercion, lack of freedom, doing something he doesn't like and which is against its will. When a child grows up, it is no wonder that his powers of concentration are not strong and he does not want to strain mentally. We acknowledge the fact that good concentration is a great asset. Yet most of us do nothing to enhance it, mostly because we do not know how. Reading and thinking about the benefits of concentration and about the reasons why it should be cultivated can help us change our attitude towards it. Concentration can be fun if approached in the right way. It should be practiced with joy, fun, optimism, and understanding of its great possibilities. It has to be approached in a positive manner, and then success dawns. There are various benefits of developing concentration. Something you can find strong powers of concentration in yourself. When you are decisive and sincerely want to excel in your studies, pass an important exam or solve a problem, the power of concentration becomes available to you. This kind of concentration is raised because of some need or desire. Developing it in a systematic way brings it under your control and grants you the ability to use it easily with no exertion whenever you need it. Real and good concentration is developed gradually through daily work and with special exercises. It has to be approached in a reasonable and practical way. We should consider what the power of concentration can give us. Control of thoughts, peace of mind, self-confidence, inner strength, willpower, the ability to focus our mind, better memory, the ability to decide and carry on our decisions, better functioning in daily life, whether at home or at work, the ability to study and comprehend more quickly, stop being carried away with every passing thought, freedom from needless and annoying thoughts, think when we want to about what we want to think, inner happiness, help in developing psychic abilities, more powerful and efficient creative visualization and guided imagination, then true meditation, spiritual enlightenment, and much more. It seems to be too good. Develop your concentration and find out for yourself. Immense benefits one get by developing concentration. Now, how to develop concentration? Sharpening the needle of concentration needs practice as everything else in life. Do you go to the gymnasium? If you do, how many times during the week and how long are you going? Do you study a foreign language? If you do, then how much time do you devote to it? Concentration is not different. Training is needed. Even 10 minutes a day will do you good. There are some simple exercises to perform. Start with 10 minutes each day. If you can manage 15 minutes, that is better. You have to understand that the mind doesn't like any discipline. It loves its freedom more than anything else and will try to stand in your way whenever and however it can. It will cause you to forget to do the exercises, make you feel lazy, and tempt you to postpone the exercises. It will find many tricks to stop and disturb you, but you can and must be stronger. Always remember that the choice is yours. To be a slave to the mind and its whims are to be its master. It may be hard to accept the idea that the mind is only some kind of a machine and that you are not the mind. It is an instrument which has its value if used correctly. But at the present, man is ruled by this instrument. You are not the mind and its thoughts. They are just some kind of power that you are using. By mental exercise, it is possible to train the mind and master it. It should be put it in its proper place as a servant to you, not as your boss and master. Most people believe that the mind is themselves are part of them, and they believe erroneously that controlling the mind means holding themselves back and denying freedom. They feel that it is not natural, that it is some sort of repression. These beliefs are wrong. What you are doing is putting the mind in its proper place. It is a power that is ruling your life, not always to your own good. The time has come for you to reclaim your birthright as a master of the mind. The proof that we are not the mind comes with training. Accept it in theory, and in time, as your control over your thoughts grows, you will see it as a fact. Remember, you are not the mind, and this is the reason that it is possible to control it. We are controlling some kind of power, not ourselves. Choose to be free. Real freedom is freedom from the obsession of thoughts. Why be a slave to the mind? Why obey its every whim? Why let it rule your life and make you say and do things you do not want to? Be free and strong. It is possible and it is worthwhile. There are some preliminaries before performing concentration exercises. When starting to learn to concentrate, you have to find a place where you can be alone and undisturbed. You can sit cross-legged on the floor if you can, or on a chair. Sit with spine erect. Take a few calm, deep breaths and then relax your body. In your mind, go through each muscle and part of the body and relax it. There are some exercises to practice. Start with first exercise and practice it daily until you are able to do it easily and without thinking about anything else for at least 5 clean minutes. You have to be honest with yourself and proceed to the next one only after you are convinced that the exercise is practiced with full concentration. No timetable can be given, as this may be frustrating. If, for example, I tell you that an exercise has to be completed in a week, two things may happen. You may get disappointed if you cannot get the desired concentration within a week, or you may move on without practicing the exercise correctly. Practicing an exercise successfully is an individual matter. It may take days, weeks, and sometimes even months. Put your whole attention into the exercises. Do not think about anything else. Be careful not to fall asleep, daydream, or think about other matters. The moment you find yourself thinking about something else, stop the exercise and start again. When you become proficient, lengthen the time, and if possible, include another session in the afternoon. Do not attempt too much at the start. You may think the exercises are too simple and easy and try to perform them all at once. Go slowly. Do not overdo or tense your brain. Try to reach perfection. If you find it too difficult, or thoughts distract you and make you think about other matters, don't despair. Everyone encounters difficulties along the way. The successful ones are those who go on and never give up. If you persist in spite of difficulties and disturbances, success will crown your efforts. Remember, even those with powerful concentration had to exercise. It doesn't matter if your concentration is weak. It can be strengthened. You need not be some special person to be able to do that, but each will reach a different level of concentration. Some will have a stronger power, others not so strong. It all depends on how much time, energy, and earnestness you put into the project. Even 10 minutes a day will add to your power. In time you will find out that you can concentrate anywhere, anytime, no matter what your circumstances are. To be able to concentrate, think and function under the most trying circumstances, staying calm, relaxed and collected, the reward is worth the effort 1,000-fold. Now to the exercises. Some of them may be familiar to you. Some may seem too easy to perform. When your concentration and knowledge about concentration increases, you will be able to create new exercises by yourself. For full benefit, it is advisable that you practice each exercise for one more week after you are convinced that you are practicing it correctly and with full attention. There are some well prescribed concentration exercises. Exercise number 1. Take a book and count the words in any one paragraph. Count them again to be sure that you have counted them correctly. Start with one paragraph, and when it becomes easier, count the words in a whole page. Perform the counting mentally and only with your eyes, without pointing your finger at each word. Exercise number 2. Count backwards in your mind from 100 to 1. Third exercise. Count in your mind from 100 to 1, skipping each 3 numbers. That is 100, 97, 94, etc. Exercise number 4. Choose an inspiring word or just a simple sound and repeat it silently in your mind for 5 minutes. When your mind can concentrate more easily, try to reach 10 minutes of uninterrupted concentration. Exercise 5. Take a fruit, an apple for example, and look at it from all sides. Concentrate your attention on it and examine it from all sides. Devote the whole session to concentrating on it. Do not be carried away by irrelevant thoughts that arise. Stay with the apple. It could be any other fruit. Look at it and do not think about the shop where you bought it, about the way it is grown, its nutritive value, etc. Only about the object in front of you. Just look at it, see it, smell it, and touch it. Exercise number 6. This is the same as the previous exercise, only that this time you visualize the fruit with your eyes closed. Start by performing again the previous exercise for 5 minutes and then do this one. Try to see, feel, taste, smell the fruit in your imagination. Try to see a clear and well-defined image. If difficulties arise, open your eyes, look at the fruit, close them again and continue the exercise. Exercise number 7. Take a small simple object such as a spoon, a fork or a glass. Concentrate on one of these objects. Watch the object from all sides without any verbalization, that is, with no words in your mind. Just watch the object without thinking with words about it. Exercise number 8. After becoming proficient in the above exercises, you can come to this exercise. Draw a small geometrical figure about 3 inches in size, such as a triangle, a rectangular or a circle. Paint it with any color you wish and concentrate on it. You should see only the figure, nothing else. Only the figure exists for you now, with no unrelated thoughts or any distractions. Try to think with words during the exercise. Try not to think with words. doing the exercise. Watch the figure in front of you and that's it. Try not to strain your eyes. Exercise number 9, same as the previous one, only this time visualize the figure with the eyes closed. As before, if you forget how the figure looks like, open your eyes for a few seconds and watch the figure and then close your eyes and continue with the exercise. Exercise number 10, same as above, as previously mentioned, but the eyes open. Exercise number 11, try for at least 5 minutes to stay without thoughts. This exercise is to be attempted only after all the previous exercises have been performed successfully. The previous exercises, if practiced correctly, will endow you with the ability to impose silence on your thoughts. In time it will become easier and easier. The secret of success is constant practice. The more time you devote to the exercises, the faster your successes arrive. Go on gradually, 10 minutes at the start, and in time, as you gain the ability to concentrate, give it more time. When you see that you are successful, you will begin to love the exercises, and in time they will become a habit. You will be able to concentrate your attention easily and effortlessly upon anything you want to concentrate on. Are you jogging, exercising at the gymnasium, or studying a foreign language? How difficult it was in the start. How many times you wanted to quit. Yet after a while you started to like what you were doing. It became a habit, needing no effort to perform. So it is with the developing the power of concentration. After some time you will start to feel differently. It will be easier to concentrate. Your mind will be calm and relaxed, and you will radiate peace into your surroundings. Things, circumstances and events that used to agitate and anger you will not influence your inner calmness. You will experiment happiness, content and satisfaction, self-confidence and inner strength. You will be able to cope more easily and efficiently with the outer world. You will feel a new form of consciousness growing in you, bringing you peace of mind. It may come every now and then for a brief moment, but in times it will grow and fill you completely. You will be able to make the mind work for you when you need its services in a most efficient way. You will be able to silence it when its services are not needed. That the attitude to life and the reactions to events change after starting to practice concentration. It is some kind of automatic and gradual process. You come to know many things about the mind and how it functions, and you learn it to deal with it efficiently. So, power of concentration is very important, particularly when you are trying to realize the truth in this very life. Concentration really makes us very strong and makes us reach the goal to realize the truth. Dr. Sarkar said, Gospel, page number 916, one can see God in those things. Master Mahashaya said, if so, one sees God more clearly in man, and still better in a great soul. In a great soul there is a greater manifestation of God. Dr. Sarkar, yes, in man, no doubt. Master said, losing consciousness by contemplating God, through whose consciousness even inert matter appears to be conscious, and hands, feet and body move. People say that the body moves of itself, but they do not know that it is God who moves it. They say that water scalds the hand, but water can by no means scald the hand. It is the heart, it is the heat in the water, the fire in the water that scalds. Rice is boiling in a pot. Potatoes and eggplant are also jumping about in the pot. The children say that the potatoes and the eggplant jump of themselves. They do not know that there is fire underneath. Man says that the sense organs do their work of themselves, but he does not know that inside dwells He whose very nature is consciousness. Dr. Sarkar stood up. He was about to take his leave. Sri Ramakrishna also stood up. Dr. Sarkar said, people call on God when they are faced with a crisis. Is it for the mere fun of it that they say, O Lord, thou, thou? You speak of God because of that trouble in your throat. We have now fallen into the clutches of the cotton carder. You had better speak to the carder. I am just quoting your own words. Master said, there is nothing for me to say. Dr. Sarkar said, why not? We lie in the lap of God. We feel free with Him. To whom should we speak about our illness, if not to Him? Master said, right you are. Once in a while I try to speak to Him about it, but I do not succeed. Dr. Sarkar said, why should we even speak to Him? Does He not know of it? Master said smilingly, a Mussulman, while saying his prayers, shouted, O Allah, O Allah. Another person said to him, you are calling on Allah. That's all right, but why are you shouting like that? Don't you know that He hears the sound of the anklets on the feet of an ant? When the mind is united with God, one sees Him very near, in one's own heart. But you must remember one thing. The more you realize the unity, the farther your mind is withdrawn from worldly things. There is a story of Vivekananda in the Bhaktimala. He used to visit a prostitute. One night he was very late in going to her house. He had been detained at home by the Shraddha ceremony of his father and mother. In his hands he was carrying the food offered in the ceremony to feed his mistress. His whole soul was so set upon the woman that he was not at all conscious of his movements. He didn't even know he was walking. There was a yogi seated on the path, meditating on God with eyes closed. Bilvamangal stepped on him. The yogi became angry and cried out, what? Are you blind? I have been thinking of God and you step on my body? I beg your pardon, said Bilvamangal. But may I ask you something? I have been unconscious, thinking of a prostitute, and you are conscious of the outer world, though thinking of God. What kind of meditation is that? In the end, Bilvamangal renounced the world and went away in order to worship God. He said to the prostitute, you are my Guru. You have taught me how one should yearn for God. He addressed the prostitute as his mother and gave her up. Dr. Sarkar said, to address a woman as mother is a tantric form of worship. Sri Ramakrishna said, listen to a story. There was a king who used daily to hear the Bhagavad recited by a Pandit. Every day, after explaining the sacred book, the Pandit would say to the king, O king, have you understood what I have said? And every day the king would reply, you had better understand it first yourself. The Pandit would return home and think, why does the king talk to me that way? Day after day, I explain the text to him so clearly, and he says to me, you had better understand it first yourself. What does it mean? The Pandit used to practice spiritual discipline. A few days later, he came to realize that God alone is real and everything else, house, family, wealth, friends, name and fame, illusory. Convinced of the unreality of the world, he renounced it. As he left home, he asked the man to take this message to the king. O king, I now understand. Here is another story. A man needed a scholar of the Bhagavad to expound the sacred text to him every day. But it was very difficult to procure such a scholar. After he had searched a great deal, another man came to him and said, Sir, I have found an excellent scholar of the Bhagavad. Very well, said the man. Bring him here. The other man replied, but there is a little hitch. The scholar has a few plows and bullocks. He is busy with them all day. He must look after the cultivation of his land. He has not a moment's leisure. Thereupon the man who required the scholar said, I don't want a Bhagavata scholar who is burdened with plows and bullocks. I want a man who has leisure and can tell me about God. Dr. Sarkar, Sri Ramakrishna said, do you understand? Dr. Sarkar remained silent. Master said, shall I tell you the truth? What will you gain by mere scholarship? The Pandits hear many things and know many things, the Vedas, Puranas, Tantras. But of what avail is mere scholarship? Discrimination and enunciation are necessary. If a man has discrimination and enunciation, then one can listen to him. But of what use are the words of a man who looks on the world as the essential thing? What is the lesson of the Gita? It is what you get by repeating the word 10 times. As you repeat Gita, Gita, the word becomes reversed into tagi, which implies renunciation. He alone has understood the secret of the Gita, who has renounced his attachment to lust and gold, and has directed his entire love to God. It is not necessary to read the whole of the Gita. The purpose of reading the book is served if one practices renunciation. Dr. Sarkar said, a man once explained the meaning of Radha to me. He said to me, do you know the meaning of Radha? Reverse the word and it becomes dhara. That is the meaning, all love. Dhara. The word dhara doesn't mean anything in particular. The doctor made the statement to change the conversation. Well, let us stop here for today. Dr. Sarkar left. M sat near Sri Ramakrishna and repeated the conversation he had had at Dr. Sarkar's house. We shall stop here. Any question to ask Jyotgaru? Oh yeah. No, that only means a lot of so many things are there. Desires, unfulfilled desires, incoming onrush of desires, and too much of involvement in the world. All these things, they add up. The result is you will not be able to concentrate. Now, the Upanishads give you the theory to how to practice it. So you must take one idea. They have got all these scriptures, have got good number of ideas. But take one idea which appeals to you most and practice it. Practice makes perfection. You have to practice it. Without practice you won't get. Without doing exercise, muscles will not become strong. Everything counts. Everything really matters. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, down deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for very selves. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns where there is desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, but thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be freed from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good be done to all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding thee of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.